Full step-by-step tutorial. First, go to your website/abo_server. Let's start configuring the database. Click on DB Settings, and enter the username, password and database name. In case the charset is different from UTF-8, then change it as well. Just to be sure, click on Check Connection, and, if everything is fine, click on Save. Next, let's configure the tables by clicking on Tables Config. Here, you can give the tables a nicer looking name, then you can pick any font or some icon, and if you do not know them by heart, you can click on the information icon, and you will be able to go to the icon search webpage. Then, you can either enable all the tables at once by clicking on the switch on the top of the screen, or you can enable them one by one. You can let a user view a table, add an element, delete an element, edit an element, export the table in PDF or in Excel. It will actually be a comma-separated file, or CSV, and finally you can tell ABO if the table is a child of a parent one. Let's quickly enable everything, and let's configure the invoice details table regarding the child-parent relationship. As you can see, you must pick the parent table, from which field of the parent to which field of the child. So, this would be equivalent of the query you see on the screen now. Let's click the Save button. Next, we go to the default options. As described, the default upload dir is the folder in which your uploaded files will be put, if you do not specify a different folder in the specific field. We will see it in detail later. You can decide if you need a confirmation when deleting a row, and if you want to use an HTML editor for big texts on the database. If not, by default the final user will see a text area. Press Save, and move on. Now we come to the customization, in which you can customize the look and feel of the client. HTML website title lets you pick the title tag for the HTML page for the client. This title will also be used in the front page of the automatic documentation. Front page content lets you write whatever you want to show to the final customers when they open ABO. Keep in mind, you can also write HTML here. Footer is used to print not only the footer of the website, but also the footer of the automatically generated document. Login type lets you decide how your final customer will access ABO. Even though we do not encourage it, you can leave it password-free, for example if ABO will be deployed on a local network or there is only one user using it. Or you can hard-code a single username and password, or you can also use a database table to store the users. Of course, if you use a table as a login table, you must hide it. In our case, we can use the table called Back Office Adminers. Let's do it. Select from Table, and in the Table Login Password field type Back Office Adminers/login/password, scroll down the page and click on the Check Login Table button. Be sure there is no error. Rows per page specifies how many rows the final customer will be able to see at once. ABO will paginate the results according to this number. Favicon for the client will let you upload an icon to be shown on the Browser tab. As usual, you can either upload one, or pick one already on the server. By default, all these icons reside on the ABO client folder. Logo for login page is shown when the final user must enter the login credentials. This picture is also printed on the front page of the automatically generated documentation. Logo for Back Office is shown on the upper left corner of the screen, and in the footer of the automatically generated documentation. We will check the Create Automatic Doc and Force DB Rescan options later. Open Client will open the ABO Client folder and, as you can see, it is already 100% usable. All the fields, though, will behave by their default. Let's customize some fields, to see the power of ABO when it comes to easily customize the final user experience. On the bottom left of the menu, you have all the tables listed. For each table, you can customize each and every field. Back Office Adminers is used only for the login, so we can hide it in the Tables config menu. Let's do it now. Let's click on Customers. We can easily hide the primary key by pressing on the eye icon. Done. If you click on the cog icon, you can edit the settings. If you click on the name of the field, you will simply see the settings. If you click on the copy icon, you will be able to copy the format, to be pasted on another field, but we will see this behavior later, in the items table. So, let's click on the cog for the IMG field. You can choose how to display this field in view mode. The options are self-explanatory, and you can find all the details in the documentation. In our case, we will display this field as a small image IMG meaning with a width of 64 pixels. Edit mode, we must select Upload in the case of an image upload. Upload dir, we must write down where the images will be stored. In our case, /abo test/customers. Width and height, if specified, will force ABO to resize the images to the specified size. You can also specify only one dimension, and ABO will take care of resizing them proportionally. Status refers to the possibility of making the field read-only, writable or hidden. Syntax check and mandatory are not used at the moment. Link to table and lookup field are used to simulate a foreign key behavior, and we will see them in action when we configure the invoices. Description is the displayed name for the final customer. Help is a text that is displayed close to the final field name on the client, and also in the automatic documentation. Let's press Save and move to the invoice detail table. In this table we have the field item ID, which is a simulated foreign key on the item table. How can we link it using ABO? First, let's click on the item ID cog. Link to table must be the final table / the final field, in this case items / name, and lookup field the field in the final table that this current field should be equal to. In our case our field is item ID, that must be equal to ID in the items table. You can check the equivalent query on the screen now. Let's click Save. Finally, we have to take care of the items table. As usual, let's hide the primary key by clicking on the eye icon near the ID field. Then, configure the IMG1 field. View mode will be IMG edit mode will be upload, and upload dir will be /items. We should do all of this for all the 10 images. Boring, isn't it? But ABO is smart. You can simply copy the format and paste it over any other field. How? Click on the copy icon on the left of the IMG1 field. On the right, you will see a list of all the available fields. Some of them will have a question mark icon, and it means that the base type is different. Usually, you do not want to paste a customized format over a field of a different type. In our case, we see IMG2 until IMG10, so we can simply click on IMG2. As you can see, it disappeared. Why? Because if the format is already the same, ABO will not show that field. So, go on, simply click on IMG3 until IMG10. It would have taken 20 minutes to do all of them manually, but thanks to ABO it takes no more than 10 seconds. Now, we can see what happens when we click on the Create Automatic Doc. ABO will generate a PDF split in two parts. In the first, it will try to describe, in plain English, what you can and cannot do in each and every field of each and every table, while in the second part it will provide with all the technical details of the database. As you can see, it tries to make it look nice too. There are pictures on the front page, logos on the bottom, and so on. It's a nice piece of documentation that you can give to your customer and you don't have to write it, it's automatically created by ABO. One final, but very important, feature of ABO is that if you change the database structure, you do not need to compile, upload, erase anything. You simply need to press a button. Suppose we add a field to the items table. When we click on ForceDB Rescan, ABO will generate a report with the new fields and that's it. It's already working. Of course, the new field will behave according to the defaults, so if you want it to behave differently, you must configure it. But it's there already, working. If you have ever tried a different back-office generator, you know what a pain is to modify a database. With ABO, everything is automatically done with a single click. Now, let's try our client. Click on Open Client, use the login and password you have stored in the back-office adminers table, and you are in. Check Customers, and you will see all the icons. Check Items, and you will see all the icons too. Let's click on the almond icon and as you can see, you can either upload a new one, or pick one from the server, or simply delete it. Keep in mind that no file will ever be deleted. It will simply empty the database field. Let's check the invoices. Do you see the nice icon, and the nice name? Look, you only see the invoices list. If you click on the expand row icon, you will be able to see the invoice details. This concludes the quick tour of all the ABO features. We hope you enjoyed it. Keep in mind that, depending on your type of license, you are entitled to ticket or email support for any inquiries.